Hey, what is up guys? I'm KBHD here, and this is Dell's UP3218K, also known as Dell's 32-inch 8K monitor in the flesh. So I don't know if you watched my video on the state of 4K earlier this year, but I went a little bit into the world of beyond 4K, 5K, 6K, and a little bit of 8K. And yes, that video was uploaded to YouTube in 8K. But it became pretty obvious that people are not gonna watch that video in 8K because nobody has an 8K monitor. People are just starting to get 4K monitors if they have the money. And even I have never seen my own 8K video files in 8K until this came along. So this is the first sold 8K monitor available. We first saw this guy at CES 2017 this January, but couldn't really use it or do much with it, but now it's on sale and shipping, so to real people who also have real overkill desires. So to the untrained eye, this is pretty much your standard Dell high-end monitor, like the rest of their Ultra Sharps that I've been familiar with. It's fully adjustable with rotation and height adjustment and the swivel and the base, so you can position it pretty much however you want. You could do vertical 8K if you wanted. The buttons are up at the front underneath the bezel, which isn't the thinnest one in the world, but it's comfortably small, not distracting at all. And on the back are your only two inputs, two DisplayPort inputs, and a couple of USB and an audio jack for the built-in speakers. So all in all, pretty simple, nothing too shocking, familiar like we've seen before from Dell. There's also a little extra vent up top for how warm this thing actually gets during regular use, but honestly, it's not even that much thicker than a normal monitor. But then you get around to the front and just look at it, and it's just an incredible panel. Here's some staggering numbers for you. 32 inches, 33 megapixels, 33 million pixels, 1.07 billion colors, and 100% of the RGB color space, 100% of Rec. 709, and 98% of the P3 color gamut. So a lot of things going for this monitor. But it's just so hard to do this thing justice through a YouTube video. I mean, it's got to go through my camera and then through downscaling and my editing, through YouTube, and then through whatever your internet connection lets you stream at, and then whatever your screen you're watching it on. I mean, it's just never gonna do it justice. So the best I can do is describe it to you. So aside from just looking at the Windows desktop in glorious 8K, I mean, it looks great, which is fantastic. You can try to pull up some YouTube videos in 8K, and there are a couple out there, but good luck getting your internet to actually play more than about 2 seconds of it at a time without buffering. So we actually took some 8K video files over and played them back full screen on this display, and they look really real, like lifelike, like almost like looking through a window, but not quite. And I think that's one of the weaknesses of this panel is it is not the brightest one in the world, and that's understandably so with this resolution, but it is just so sharp. The most frequent use I could imagine for a panel like this would be photo and image manipulation, photo editing, Photoshop, stuff like that. Being able to see that much more detail on every image you work on, especially when you have such high resolution images you work with nowadays, or even if you're doing video editing, having a native full 4K window inside of your video editor, pixel for pixel, is something you've never had before. So that's incredible. So if you're a professional doing that type of work, then you'll definitely appreciate not just the 8K crazy amount of pixels, but the corner to corner color accuracy and evenness of lighting and all that stuff. Maybe not the reflectiveness. You might get like a hood for this or something, or maybe a dark room that this sits in, but you'll definitely appreciate that corner to corner value. And then maybe you want to go a little bit more insane and do some 8K gaming. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Right 6 over crest, caution braking, turn acute left. Now you're gonna have to ignore the bad driving because I know that's all you want to comment about when watching this, but I've literally turned up every graphics setting to Ultra, the highest it can go, and scaled it all the way up to 7680 by 4320, so 8K. And it feels like I'm watching a really good video. Like it's unrealistic in a weird way. I'm just admiring all the little tiny details at this point. I'm guessing this isn't how normal people play this game. This is Dirt Rally on Steam, and the Titan XP in this machine we're running this on absolutely crushes it. Obviously, it's a racing game, so this is trying to be as realistic as possible in the driving experience, so you're supposed to do this with a racing wheel and not a controller. But still, the visuals you get with all the tiny particles in the air and everything getting kicked up on the road and all the reflections on top of the shiny car, all of that look crazy good, obviously, when it's rendered this clear. And this is not a gaming monitor by any means. Like, this is why I say you have to be a little bit crazy to get something like this just for gaming. The response times won't be like what you're used to, but for a very casual, occasional gamer like me, it just looks really good. So for what's driving this setup, you can't actually plug this monitor into any computer and expect it to work at full 8K. In fact, it'll probably top out at 4K. In fact, out of all the computers I actually own, only one of them was able to run this at full 8K, and that's the monster computer that Main Gear has built, and that's because there's a Titan XP in it. The Titan XP has a couple DisplayPort 1.4 ports, which is physically different than 1.3 or 1.2, despite not being visually that much different. But you have to know you have a card that has that new port, and then in order to get 8K up and running, you actually have to get 2 DisplayPort cables from the same video card at the same time into this monitor, just so it can tile together this 8K image. So for those curious, I'll leave all the links to all of the relevant hardware from this video right below that like button if you want to check them out. But yeah, overall, from me, this thing's getting thumbs up. Obviously, I really like pixels, and this is the most pixel-dense display on the desktop that I've ever seen or used. Makes a really good case for me switching to a machine like this for video editing. Trust me, if this ran Final Cut Pro, I'd switch today. But should you spend $5,000 on the world's first 8K display? Probably not right now. But this actually reminds me of a couple years ago when I bought some of the first 4K displays you could get for your desktop, bought a pair of them, and they were about $4,000 each. A couple years later, of course, these displays are now on Amazon for around $1,000. So assuming that same trend continues for these, hopefully we could see a lot of people using 8K displays in the future with all kinds of high-res content, 8K videos, that all over the place. We just gotta get our internet connections to keep up. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.